Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook video on Friday the 13th of July. Now, a complicated pattern ahead. We've got essentially a more unsettled theme as we go through over the next week to 10 days. We've got rather slack pressure, which means light winds and means things that move around very slowly. And within that could be some heavy bursts of rain at times, but also some decent days too. Let's have a look at the charts for the next few days. Then Saturday, first of all, fronts are edging in from the Atlantic. Some warm and humid air associated with a former tropical system, which is well out to the west of us at this stage. But fronts coming in, producing some low cloud and outbreaks of rain and drizzle across the western and northwestern highlands. Largely dry across the eastern side of the highlands, highest of the cloud bases towards the Cairngorms. And for much of England and Wales, a dry and bright day throughout with a good amount of sunshine, a little bit hazy at times. The risk of any showers look to be confined to the far southeast of England, so across the Pennines, the Lakes and Wales should be in for a dry day. For Sunday, we've still got fronts trailing in across Scotland with some further outbreaks of rain pushing a bit more extensively northwards and eastwards through the day. The heaviest and most persistent falls likely to be around more western and southwestern parts of the Highlands. Some falls of rain too around western hills of Wales into the Lake District and Dumfries and Galloway. The winds strongest across the far northwestern Highlands might not quite reach gale force on the high tops, but it'll be a blustery day for a time at least across the northwest Highlands. Lighter winds relatively for England and Wales. Best of conditions for the Pennines Peak District at the south and east of Wales, where you'll most likely stay dry all the way through and feeling warm. That cold front will make a gradual journey eastwards and southeastwards into Monday. Some uncertainty of absolute timing. Basically, the very warm and humid air still runs ahead of it. Slightly fresher air follows from the west. Along that frontal zone, though, some persistent bursts of rain, some heavy falls perhaps for a time, looking as though it's focused on Wales, the Lake District, perhaps into south and eastern Scotland, whilst behind that across a good part of the Highlands, things may just improve with just one or two scattered showers and cloud bases lifting through the day. Not too much wind to move things on, though, as the isobars open out, so if you do see rain, you could just be stuck with it for quite a while. So for Tuesday, everything a little bit slack and confidence becomes quite low as we head into midweek, so I won't go any further ahead on these charts at this stage. Detail is rather uncertain. The same old front is still across eastern Britain. It could start to pivot its way further back northwards at some point through midweek. The risk of some bursts of rain, locally heavy and persistent, with the risk of something thundery in there locally. You might just find you can escape in one or two spots and you see a decent day, so you could well get away with it, but always just be on the watch out for some areas of heavy rain at times. So all a little bit messy as we go into the middle of the week. We've got, again, slack pressure. The colours on this chart indicate the pressure levels in the middle atmosphere, which shows the presence of a trough. You can see the dip in the colours where the yellow colours come towards Britain on this chart. Higher pressure is focused over Scandinavia and away over the mid-Atlantic. It's away from our shores now compared to where it was in the earlier part of the summer when high pressure was right over the top of us, giving that long, settled, dry spell. But for now, it's fairly slack low pressure. There might be a day or so in midweek, perhaps Wednesday, where showers become fewer as pressure builds briefly, but the next low over the Atlantic tries to get back in. Still could be quite a slack feature, which gives that risk of some slow-moving bursts of rain, possibly thundery. Still a fairly warm picture, not overly hot, but temperatures around average, getting into the 20s in many of the valleys. And quite a humid feel on some days as well, but always with that risk of triggering off a few heavy bursts of rain. And we more or less stay under that trough as we head through towards the weekend, with high pressure staying away from our part of the world. And that might well be a common theme through the remainder of the month. This chart just taking you towards the end of July, treated very cautiously, but the indication we're getting from this is that high pressure is focused across Scandinavia toward the east of Europe, whilst low pressure is probably more near and to the west of us. And it's all drawing in a fairly warm and humid flow of air from the south, perhaps the southeast, but also getting something thundery into the mix with an unstable atmosphere being driven by the presence of that low quite near to us. So I don't think we're quite going to get back into the long dry spell. There might be some decent days, there might be some good warmth, but always at the risk of breaking down more frequently. We'll keep you up to date with those thoughts going further ahead. Of course, things can change once we're going that far down the line, but it does just look as though we're that bit more mixed compared to what we've been in recent times. Thanks for watching this video today, and bye for now.